So the owner who was signing my checks, a billionaire, was pulling up in a Buick LeSabre. And I pulled up in a Ferrari. And when I saw the Buick LeSabre, I said, I'm hustling wrong. Saving is just contagious as spending.
Okay, we are here today. Well, you know what? Before I introduce this man to my left, I want to say something. In life, achievements, reaching those goals that we all have, right? It's one thing to be able to achieve a goal one time, and I don't want to take anything away from doing something one time. That's great. It's amazing. But when you do something great twice, it takes any doubt or any aspect of luck out of it. And so I'm sitting here right now with Ike Taylor, two-time Super Bowl championship winner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ike, it's a pleasure to have you here, man.
Well, you just said something right there, boy. When you do something twice, because usually one time it's like, okay, you do something twice, it's like, okay, it was meant
It gives me chills to talk
to
about.
be.
It's like,
So I appreciate the love right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's like if you had just won once, oh, he got lucky. You can't say that now, right?
No, we did that thing 2 times.
Yeah, that's
Good feeling, bro.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm not going to make this whole thing about sports. As you know, I've already told you I'm not a big sports guy.
Right.
My sports IQ is very low. Okay,
Right, it's all
but
good.
I think that's cool because it makes me focus on the other aspects of this stuff. Like when someone watches this and they see the success of Privada Cigar Club, they don't get to see the trials and tribulations, the struggles. You know what I mean? And so I want to ask you 2 things about winning the Super Bowl. But first, let's cut light and pour something nice, okay?
Why not?
All right,
Let's
cool.
get it.
So here's what I want to talk about. You win a Super Bowl, whether it's number 1 or 2, it's a glorious moment. I think the cool thing that I thought about
Cheers,
is,
bro.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's some good stuff right
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have a guy, San Francisco wine trader, Jason. He hooks me up with a lot of great cognac.
That's some good yak.
So one of the cool things I think about, it's like, you know, a boxer, you only gets to celebrate with him and his friends. You have a whole team. There must be a staff of what, 50 to 100 people? Am I crazy? Is there more people than that involved in a football team?
Yeah, so it's 53 guys in the roster, including practice squad guys. At the time, it was 65. After that, you got to look at your staff. You're probably getting up to 80-something. Then you got to look at the media who travel with you, probably at the 100. Then you got to look at the people who take care of you. You're probably looking at 120 people.
Okay. So it's an amazing celebration because of that, because of it's shared, right? And that's another aspect of this club is we're sharing these experiences. We all get these 3 unique cigars every month. I write about them. I give you the story. And even though we're not necessarily in person, we're sharing a collective experience.
Right.
And that's amazing.
Right.
It's like, you know, no one wants to go on vacation by themselves.
Right.
Okay. So, well, maybe you do at some point in your life, but it takes a very mature person. Right. Okay. So, but what I want to talk about is not the glory of that. I want to talk about
The process.
No.
No?
I want to know what was there anything negative that came out of it? For example, there's been times where we break through this glass ceiling with the club, and all of a sudden I have anxiety or I'm nervous about, I have to live up to something. You know, after this interview, well, who am I going to get next?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
is there that thing with the Super Bowl? Like after the, 10, 20, 30 days of celebrating are up, you're like, okay, what's next?
Whew, that's a good question. So, for me, the first Super Bowl was the family. So that was my first year ever starting. 4th round draft pick, walk on in college, didn't have a scholarship. I wasn't supposed to start. So when Pittsburgh have drafted me, a lot of the writers in Pittsburgh
I saw that.
was a good special teamsman. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll last 3 years, maybe at the max. So I cut it out, cut all that out, I put that on my refrigerator. And I said, okay. Every time I walk downstairs and walk through my door, my front door, that's what I looked at. Special teamser, guy who probably be in the league for 3 years max. I said, okay. I've been busting my ass my whole life anyway. This about to be easy, cause there ain't gonna be no days off for me.
Wow.
Wind up starting my 3rd year. We wound up going to the Super Bowl, but I remember we was playing the Colts, and that's when they had Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning, Dallas Clark,
Wow.
Edgerrin James.
Even I know that's a great team.
So they was loaded.
Right.
And the guys I just named are going or are in the Hall of Fame. So, and I remember Dick LeBeau. Dick LeBeau is the defense coordinator for us. He's in the Hall of Fame. He played with Night Train Lane back in the day in Detroit. So Dickie told me, and keep your eyes out the backfield. He said, your eyes can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And I, yeah. I said, yeah, I got you, coach. I got you. And for a split second, bam, I had my eyes just like that. Like Marvin Harrison lying right in front of me. Peyton Manning gave Edgerrin James a little play action fake. And just that slack split second, he was gone past me. Just like that. He was gone. So he scored. So everybody on defense looking at me. Like, all right, young buck. Marvin scored on you. What you gonna do now? Because that was the first quarter. We got 4 quarters in football. I said, all right, I just gotta bring the dog out. He ain't about to have no more yards after that. That's what I told myself.
Right.
I said, cause these other 10 guys depending on me.
Right.
And I gotta prove to them.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah. I gotta prove to them, yeah, I got beat. But this ain't about to happen again. This how I'm going down fight. So wind up handling my business. I remember Coach Kyle, Hall of Fame. Coach Kyle was going to the Hall of Fame this year, a matter of fact. So we all got to go to Canton. Coach Kyle said, we lost this game. This was like mid-season. He said, we lost this game, but we'll be back during the playoffs to win the Super Bowl. So I'm just looking at him. I'm looking at Coach Kyle like, damn, we about to come back through here for the Super Bowl? All right. Came true. So we had to go back through Indy to get to the Super Bowl. We had to play the 4 top 5 offenses in the league at the time. Cincinnati, Denver Broncos.
And you're a
Peyton
defensive
Manning.
player.
Yes, sir. Peyton Manning, which was the Colts, and I'm missing one, Seattle Seahawks to win it. That's 4. 4 out of the top 5 offenses in the league. We had to play them to get to the Super Bowl. To make a long story short, I wound up catching an interception in the Super Bowl. We wound up scoring 2 plays after that. Antoine Randall L. threw a reverse pass to Hines Ward. He wound up scoring, wound up sealing the deal. That was Super Bowl 1. In the off season, I was back 2 days working out.
2 days.
I took
2 days off.
I took 2 days off
to celebrate. Relax.
And I went back.
Wow.
To workouts. Cause I'm looking at it as a professional athlete, your window is short. So you might as well maximize your time. And
people ask me why is there so much take it. I get emails all the time. Take this weekend, relax. I don't know when I'm gonna get this opportunity to serve this many people again.
Your vision different, bro. See when your vision is different, everybody ain't gonna be able to see your vision. The only people that are gonna be able to see your vision is people who got the same mindset as you. That's how I look at it. Like, I can't tell my vision to everybody.
Right.
Because everybody don't understand my vision. There's no such days as relaxed days. As soon as the good man wake my eyes up and I put my 2 feet on the floor, it's go time. I don't care what time it is. I don't care how many hours I didn't sleep. As long as I got breath in my body, it's always go time. Because you can do whatever you want to do when you're down here. We just visiting. That's how I look at it. And I'm sure you got kids, and I got a son.
Sure.
I got 3 nephews. I got some nieces. Like I want to make sure they straight.
Yeah.
So how I make sure they straight? I got to get my vision and put them in a situation to make sure they're straight.
So it sounds like you deal with pressure very well.
See, I don't call it pressure.
Okay, that's what I want to get into, the mental aspect of it, because this is part of, in my life there has been, and I'm sure this is true with a lot of people, there have been levels of success where I feel like I didn't perform well under pressure, and then there's times where I'm killing it. So but it's all mental. It has
Right.
nothing to do with my ability.
Correct. See, and that's, you said the word, ability. You got the ability. You just got to really rely on, you got to trust, you got to rely on that ability. Because everybody ain't got your ability. So you got to be 100% sure of your ability. I put the work in the off season, so when it came down to 10 seconds left on the game and I knew they was throwing at me, it wasn't no pressure because I knew what I did in February, March, April, May. So I was waiting on this moment. When you put the time in, you embrace the big moments.
Right.
When you don't put the work in, that's when they say, oh, the pressure or the stage was too big for them. It was never too big for me.
You go from regular person, I don't know your backstory, I don't know how rich or poor you were growing up, but I will just call it a regular person.
Right.
To 4th round draft pick, you make I think 1.8 on the first contract,
Right.
not to throw your business out there.
Right.
But you basically become a millionaire overnight.
Right.
How old are you at this time?
I'm 41.
No, how old are you then?
21.
I mean, if you gave most 21-year-olds $1 million, it's
Right.
gone.
They're gonna blow it.
Right. So the thing that I want to know is, how does this change your life in a sense of, do you have to change the places that you're hanging out, the people you're hanging out with, that kind of thing? You talked about vision, other people that aren't successful not being able to see your vision. You can't share your vision. So now that you're a millionaire overnight, and to a lot of people that don't have money, $1 million means everything.
Right.
Once you make $1 million, you realize it's really not a lot of money, in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
But what changes for you?
And
do you know to make those changes at 21 years old, regardless who's in your
nah,
ear?
you don't, because you're never taught that. Like growing up, how I grew up in New Orleans, have to borrow bread from the neighbors. Sometimes you got to sleep in the car. Sometimes it's no electricity. So understanding sometimes sleep was the best thing to eat.
Wow.
So growing up the way I grew up, I got 3 sisters and my mom. So I always wanted to find a way to make sure they straight. So my sister got 2 daycares. My older sister does. My middle sister, she has a nail salon. And my youngest sister, she's on the way to be a VP for Haynes.
Wow.
So I always had put them first. Like I got to find a way for them.
I got to stop you for 1 second. Sometimes sleep was the best way to eat.
Correct.
Wow. That's pretty prolific.
Right.
I'm a writer, so that means a lot. Wow.
But that was for real.
Wow.
Sometimes I had to sleep to eat. Let me sleep it off, then I felt like I wasn't going to be hungry.
And so all of a sudden you have $1 million in your pocket, or close to it, whatever I don't know what the terms are, but there's a couple $100,000 in your bank account.
So people don't understand Uncle Sam and taxes. That's how it was for me, but I didn't know anything about taxes. So 1.2 turned into 700,000. 700,000, you get that in 6 months. Off season come, you ain't getting no paycheck till the next season. Shit, you wind up blowing 400,000.
Wow.
So you're like, damn, I just got 3 left in the tank. So then my second year, I'm looking at what I'm getting paid, like $50,000 every 2 weeks. But I'm looking at my OGs, $600,000
Oh, yeah.
every 2 weeks. Then I'm looking at the big boys, $1.2 million every 2 weeks. I say, you know what? I got to get to this level.
Okay, so it made you work harder.
Not to work harder. I just said I got to get to this
Okay.
level. Because I always felt like my work ethic was better
Gave you a goal.
than everybody else.
Yeah.
I said, so if I just continue to do what I was doing, which was being consistent, so I can get to this 1 point something every 2 weeks, this 4 point something every 2 weeks, I said, I got action.
I love that. I love
got
that.
action.
I
got
love
action.
that.
But the old heads used to show me their checks. And young buck, this where you want to get to. I was like, ooh. So basically, y'all spending this 37 in 2 months.
Did you have to distance yourself from certain people after that? Did people come out of the woodwork?
No had to be your favorite word.
No. Saying no.
No had to be your favorite word. Because if
And
not,
it's hard to say no to certain people too.
no, it's not.
No?
Because one, and me and you probably on the same page.
Uh-huh.
I would never ask you for the amount of money you asking me.
Okay. Right. Okay. So
You
it's
know
all
what I'm
right. I
saying?
get it. All right.
Like
I get that.
Like I got so much pride.
Right.
I'd rather try to get it on my own than ask you. Now, I give it if I feel like somebody gonna do something with it. But if I feel like if I gotta think twice about you doing something with what you asking me for,
Yeah, but see, this is a problem because, when someone who comes from a successful family and starts making money on their own, their friends aren't sitting there with their hands out because they come from other families that have money. And so this is yet another part of the struggle of a professional athlete, of a lot of professional athletes. You have something very unique about yourself after doing research on you. Steady Eddie. That's what comes to mind. Slow and steady wins the race. You have the record of most consistent played games for the
Right.
Steelers?
right.
So you've missed less games than any other player on the Pittsburgh Steelers in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Correct.
Okay. So, to me, after doing a lot of research on successful people, I can tell you that being reliable is probably the best trait to have.
Availability is the best ability.
Availability. Man, you're full of it, man. I love this. Wow. Availability is the best ability. So, what is it that made you so steady? Why? How?
I didn't take the off season for granted. So usually guys, when they get to the off season, especially off of our off seasons, which was winning Super Bowls and going to playoffs, it's like, damn man, I'm gonna party for 3 months. Then 3 turn into 4. Then you only got about 6 weeks to get back into
Okay.
football shape. But I'm like, nah, my window too short for that. I'd rather retire when I want to retire and have whatever I need in my account to say, call my financial advisor and like, bro, I'm good, you good. For the rest of my life, for the rest of your life.
That's what I keep hearing in you. Is this wasn't about you. You're a provider.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that to me, after speaking to you for whatever amount of time we've been together, that sounds like your motivating factor. Is
Right.
providing.
Till this day. Like now I got a son, he's 14. His work ethic is just as well as mine. I mean, the man, 14 years old, he get up at 4:30 in the morning, work out before he go to school. I say ain't nobody in the world at 14 doing what you doing
Wow.
right now. I say, bro, it's grown-ups are not persistent and
No.
consistent like that. But he has his own goal. He's real good in football. He's real good in every sport, but he's real good in football. And he like, Daddy, what do I need to do to be better than you? I say, for one, I was a good athlete. You're a superior athlete. You just got it 6 years before I did. Keep going at your rate. Keep doing what you're doing. everything will work out. So he don't like when somebody say, "Oh, you just like your dad," because he wants his own book.
Sure.
So that's what I
That's his
appreciate.
motivation.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I think this is a good part to segue into where do cigars enter into the equation. I don't necessarily want to ask you the question, what was your first cigar, or any of that, but I think before you started smoking cigars, as someone who aspired to be a professional athlete, how did you look at cigars? What did they mean to you? And then where did they kind of come into your life?
Really coming to Orlando. We all smoke at Corona Cigar Bar in Sand Lake, coming to Orlando. I wanted to change who I was hanging with, so I used to go to this sushi spot right by Corona Cigar Bar. It's called Amora. Now they changed the name to Akisaka.
Okay.
So
Jeff Borzowicz is an amazing guy. He's done amazing things for this industry.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Corona's we're lucky to have all the. I go to the one downtown. You go to the one on Sand Lake.
Correct.
That's where the players play.
Yeah.
I'm still hanging out.
I mean, it's closer for you, just like it's closer for me.
Right.
So location is everything.
Yeah, but I mean, we're lucky to have those kind of facilities here. Like, it's pretty amazing.
No question. So, man, it's crazy. So, in 1933, Mr. Art Rooney, who bought the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1933 for 10 grand.
Wow.
And that's during the time of Depression.
Right. So he got a good deal. He knew when to buy.
So 10 grand right now is equivalent to what in 1933? So just say he just bought the Pittsburgh Steelers for $1 million in 1933. So that means he was working with some cheese.
Right.
He was a cigar smoker. So they nicknamed him the Chief. So if you just type in Art Rooney, the Chief, or you just type in the Chief, he always had a cigar stick in his hand.
Okay.
And I was like, and I asked his son, and me and his son are real cool, RP, Mr. Dan Rooney, because they go every generation, Art Dan, Art Dan, Art Dan. That's how they do it. So I called him Papa. I said, Papa, why the Chief always smoking? He was like, man, that's what he like. I said, what's so good about cigars? I never met him, but every picture, he blazing a cigar.
Right.
He was like, that's what my dad loved to do. He said, it's relaxing. I said, okay. 2009, I started smoking cigars. I said, you know what, man, let me try. I didn't know. Matter of fact, I inhaled my first couple. And I tell people all the time, I say, if you want to get dizzy or sick,
oh yeah,
inhale a cigar.
Oh yeah.
Because the tobacco is super strong.
Yeah.
So I became a fan of cigars. Then my old head started putting me on cigars and stuff. What's a good cigar? What's a bad cigar? What's your palate like? I said, oh, well, this is like drinking wine. It was like, yeah, whatever your palate is on drinking wine, you can compare that to whatever cigar you got, whether it's mild, medium, or bold.
Yeah.
I said, okay, cool. So I just had to figure out what I like smoking. So I wound up figuring out my palate, and I took it from there. But yeah, 2009, when I really got heavy into cigars.
How did you hook up with Howard?
Man, I've been knowing, so Howard G is our line, Howard G Cigars. And I've been knowing Howard for a long time, and I call Howard the mayor of Orlando, because he's right here from Kissimmee, but he know everybody. I don't care if you're the janitor or the CEO. He just know everybody. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna give you a nickname, bro. You the mayor. That's just you, bro. You come in, you take over a room. You ain't even trying to. That's just your personality. To me, I'm more laid back and reserved. You, that's just what you do.
Right.
So he was like, man, I'm coming out with my cigars, man. I think you should make a cigar, Ike. I was like, for real? He was like, yeah, you should make a cigar. At the time, I was smoking Atabase.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I was smoking, was just Atabase.
Yeah.
He said, if you like Atabase, man, I'm gonna connect you with my guy. See if we can come up with your own name, blase.
Sure.
I said, all right, cool. Wind up having a connection. It took me about a year and a half to come up with this one of a kind. I smoked 40 kind of tobaccos, narrowed it down to 3, then 2, to come up with this one-of-a-kind.
Okay.
And the first thing I told Howard, my partner, was, I said, bro, I want to age mine. So I'd rather people wait and be pissed off at me and smoke my cigar and love me and forever come back than to me press my cigars out and for them to be like, this some BS. Because I've heard these with a lot of athletes who come out with cigars.
Right.
They just like putting their name on it.
So that is a stigma, right? And so I feel like, with Pravada, we kind of represent the next generation of cigar smokers. And we saw that. We saw the athletes that just put their name on things. And with us, it's a real love of the leaf. It's not just jewelry. It's not just something to look cool at, Corona or something with. We're actually really into this. So when we see athletes do it, it kind of feels like it's watered down. And that was the reason why I asked you to come in today, because I didn't feel like it was watered down with you. I felt like there was something authentic happening. And I have to credit Howard for that. He was very passionate when I spoke to him. He's very authentic. And you weren't throwing around the NFL thing. You didn't tell me anything.
Right,
I didn't know who you were.
Right.
I'd
rather keep it like that.
That's cool.
Right.
Very cool. And so, I think that's, the vibes, it's like you run into people and you get that vibe. And that was the vibe that I got from you guys.
We spoke briefly, but the vibe was right there.
Right. I knew you knew something. And that's what I look for. I knew you knew something. I don't know how to put that in better words, but I knew you had experience. I knew there was something about you. And so that was very cool. And that also made me want to follow up. But Howard's like a great spokesperson for a brand. And I'm telling you right now, I had the best cigar makers in the game with me. I'm smoking their cigars, and it was something about that arid, dry air. I was putting them down. I would take a few puffs, and something's not right.
Right.
And I smoked the Black Moses, and I was like, oh, this is what I was looking for. This is what my palate needed. So these are full flavored cigars. This one in particular is more of a celebration stick. This is something that I would reserve for times of celebration, or if you got it like that, you can smoke one every day. I love the band.
Appreciate you.
What inspired this?
I'm a huge fan of the Joker.
Okay, I mean I can see that, and then the Steeler colors and everything.
Steeler color. I'm a huge fan of the Joker. So it's 80% Nicaraguan tobacco. It's 20% Lancaster, PA tobacco, and it's wrapped in a Sumatra from Connecticut.
Before I let you go, I want to run a couple of things. One, you're giving back. You run a youth camp for football. You're making yourself available to these kids.
Correct.
You're giving them insight. Do you, and this is where I'm a little bit of a head case. When you look at these young men that are, want to become you, basically. They want to become a professional athlete. Knowing the odds of being successful, does it make you sad at all? Does it bother you at all?
For the laziness of this generation, it's troubling to think about it.
Really?
But it's a million kids, over a million kids who play high school football. It's over 70,000 kids who play college football. Only 250 get drafted. So you do better by trying to go to 7-Eleven and play the lotto and getting drafted.
So after knowing that, and after being someone that has money, and now you surround yourself with people that have money, most of these people did not make their money off athletics, right?
Right.
You see, it's a lot easier to make money in business than it is, because eventually, once you have money, you have to come to business at some point, investing, whatever. So
Depending on your lifestyle.
Okay.
See, my lifestyle is super simple. So I wanted to get to, and I learned this from the owner who was signing my checks. So the owner who was signing my checks, a billionaire, was pulling up in a Buick LeSabre. And I pulled up in a Ferrari. And when I saw the Buick LeSabre, I said, I'm hustling wrong. I said, this dude signed my checks, and this is what he pulled up in. But I wasn't taught. I thought this what you had to have
Of course.
to be successful.
Of course. Who's giving you the guidance?
So as soon as I sat down with him, and I was like, man, I want to start a business, Paw. He was like, for what? Your body is your business. He said, have you ever heard of interest? I said, no, sir. He said, start with this. Put 5, put 10, put 20, put 30, put 40. You get the 40 in the bank, you got action. I said, what you mean in the bank? He said, we call it liquid. He said, ain't no network. We call it liquid. Once you got liquid, the banks come to you. You ain't never got to go to a bank.
Huh.
So now you can put the interest on what you want to put off of your money. I said, say less, Paw. So saving is just contagious as spending. So once I got in the saving mode, I was
this
like,
guy, he's got the, oh man, this
I was
is,
like, man,
bro, people need to write this stuff down. Saving is as contagious as spending. Wow. You know, my father always says one thing to me, and he tells me his accountant tells him this. It's not how much you make, it's how much you save.
Yeah, then 100%.
And I hate to admit this, but I've been running this business for 4 years. I've sunk almost every single penny that we've made back into the business.
But you're putting it
yes,
back
but
into the business.
I also have to be very conscious. Like I said, this is an opportunity. Who knows?
Right.
This could go away tomorrow.
Right.
So, you know, it's something that I'm very conscious of. It's not how much you make, it's how much you save. And so what was your saying?
What?
What did you just say? Saving is as contagious. It's a
spending.
game.
Yeah.
It's a game.
So you really find out who you are. So you don't have the see, I rotate clothes. Everybody know I wear the same stuff. But I don't care.
Okay.
You know, I'm not trying to impress you. In the back of my mind, it's my family. So what I'm gonna leave my family? That's the only thing I'm thinking.
Wow.
So the more I spend on stuff that's not irrelevant,
Right.
the more money I'm taking off of their plate. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta like me for me.
Yeah, sure.
And the more you know I don't have that you like me, the more you are for me
Interesting.
as a person. So that's how I've always looked at it. Like, anybody tell you I never gave a what.
I asked you to wear your favorite shoes today.
Right.
I went and got the Ken Griffey Juniors, and I got the Dipset socks for it. Okay, just for this interview. And what'd you wear?
The Vans.
You wore the Vans, and they look great on you.
Now, I've been wearing the Vans for like 7 days.
It's a classic look. But I thought that was very funny when you showed up. I was like, he didn't do what I told him. I said, wear your favorite sneakers, and you don't give a shit, and that's great. This is what the youth need. They need to see this.
Right.
It's so much more impressive to me. I am so much more impressed by you after learning this about you. I didn't expect that.
Appreciate it.
Because it's intelligence. And coming from a place where you really didn't have that, I commend you for being smart enough to when you saw the Buick LeSabre.
Right.
A bunch of other guys saw the Buick LeSabre. They didn't stop doing what they were doing, and they're broke.
Nah. Well, hopefully they not, but bro, it's sometimes you just gotta get it, bro. And some people, the answers sometimes are right in front of you, and you don't even acknowledge them. You know. But I was fortunate to have an owner who had a lot and showed me you didn't need materialistic things to be successful. You didn't have to show. So I don't know if you listen to rap, but me and Slim from Cash Money.
I'm wearing Dipset socks.
You
bro.
right.
Come on.
me and Slim.
Yeah.
He's like another one of my mentors. Like, he's always behind the scene kind of guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like, he's the mastermind. So just for me, hanging around a lot of people who got it, but don't want you to know it because they just really want to see who you are by not knowing who they are.
Sure.
So it's like what you bring to the table.
So impressive.
Loyalty to the table. So.
Well, I hope some young people see this and can understand that because we're living in a time of, doing it for the gram and,
Correct.
And TikTok and all that. I mean, come on, man. But it's it's so important because people's happiness now is being decided by what their Instagram or TikTok page looks like. And it's like, no, that's not it. You're going to get left with nothing. So I could sit here and talk to you all day long. You've dropped so many gems on us. I'm not going to keep, time is money, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. But I do want to thank you for being here. If you're watching this, let's support Howard G Cigars. Let's support my man Ike Taylor for showing Privada Cigar Club some love. Shout out to Corona Cigars. Shout out to Howard G Cigars.
Yes.
Hashtag PSSITA. Hashtag we are Privada. Hashtag we are family. And I hope to have you back someday.
Man, I appreciate you.
Let's get Howard in here.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be live, Howard G come in.
We'll get the two of you
Yes,
in here.
sir.
Okay, cool.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.